Welcome to another session of the A2 Library tutorial series, and we are still on data cleaning. That is one of the aspects of our data analysis tutorial. There we are focusing on Microsoft Excel, and as said earlier on, we'll try to use some Power Query, Power Pivot, and also we jump onto Power BI. But you have to get the basics. You have to understand certain things so that when we get to the features of Power Query, you understand some of these things. So, and we're moving on then. In this tutorial, we are going to capture, or we are going to study how we can format our text. So there are some texts in Microsoft Excel that sometimes, assuming you extract your file from any database applications, or you have a CSV file, or anything that is being extracted, you look at the data in your Excel sheet and you realize that there are some texts that are not well formatted. And so you want to convert some of the text to upper cases, assuming, let's say you want to convert some of the text to lower cases. Let's say you also want to convert some of the text to, we have something we call capitalize each word, meaning that the first letter of every word start with a capital letter. And this is what some of the functions that we are going to look into. We have the proper, we have the upper, we have the lower, and we have a combination of proper and trim. All right. So when we talk about trim, what does it mean? So we'll start with some practical examples and how we will use the proper, the upper, the lower, and a combination of proper and trim. All right. So this is our Excel file, and we will start with a trim because we have trim over here. So when you talk about a trim function, what does it do? So you realize that under the artist, you realize that we have some text that there are some white spaces that starts. You realize that there are some, let's say we have some double spaces over here. So all these spaces are not needed. You realize that there's also another space over here. Let's check this one too. You realize that there's also another space over here. That's double space, so we don't need them. So we try to do something with the white spaces, meaning to get rid of the white spaces. And getting rid of the white spaces, that comes before the actual information, as you see over here. And moreover to the double spaces that we see over here, there's a function in Excel that we use, and that is called the trim, as you see over here. So let's try to insert a column so that when we perform or we use a function, we can able to see the result over here. So we have the information over here. So we start with equal to, and you know that every function, or if you want to use any input function in Excel, it is being preceded with an equal to sign or any formula. So we have equal to, and we start with a trim. So we have trim and we have trim mean, but we are interested in the first one. So we select or double click, and it's asking of the text. So this, we select this one to pick the first one. All right, and we click on enter. Now you realize that there is no change with this. Yeah, so what we have over here is the same thing as what we have over here. Fine. So we said earlier on that we want to deal with the white spaces that comes before the actual information, or we have some double spaces in our information or our text. So let's try to copy this formula and see the impact on other information that we have over here. So we move our cursor to this side. We can drag everything down, or what we can do is to double click. So we just double click. So after double clicking, we can check our results. So what do we have over here? You realize that the white spaces over here is off, as you're seeing. So, and also when you come to this side, you realize that we have two double spaces, and this one has been this is a corrected one. So with a trim function, it tries to remove all unwanted white spaces. You check the next one, it is being corrected. You check this one, that's also, or it's also what's corrected. So that's the purpose of the trim, just to remove all white spaces that begins with the information or comes, let's say, in between the text or the information that you have. Now, going back to this particular column, you realize that our text is not properly arranged. You realize that we have a mixture or a mix of upper cases and that of lower cases, and not properly arranged. So you realize that we have all upper cases over here. Now this a particular column. So in one of our tutorials, we said that in cleaning your data, there should be consistency. Okay, so what we actually meant was there should be uniformity in whatever you are doing. So looking at this particular column, you realize that we have some text that has a mixture of upper cases, all upper cases, and that of lower cases and all upper cases over here, and it doesn't follow any uniformity, or there's no consistency with the information that we have over here. So these are the functions that we normally use when it comes to case or text. So we are going to use the upper, the lower, and also the proper. All right, so let's try to introduce a new column over here. So let me see, cancel, sorry, insert. All right, so we are starting with the upper. Let's say you want to convert all cases over here to upper cases. So we have equal to, we have upper, select this, then we select this. So we use the enter key. Now we move our cursor to the edge of the cell, we double click. All right, so that's what we have over here. You realize that all cases have been changed to upper cases. But fine, you realize that there are still some white spaces over here. Well, we will soon come to that, how you can deal with them after converting to lower cases and also getting rid of the white space. Okay. So we tried that of, this is the upper case. We tried that of the lower case. So let's get rid of this. So we set another column. So this one, we use the lower. So we have equal to lower, double click, select this. All right, so we double click, you realize that all our cases are in the lower case. Okay, so we can also realize that what we have over here, there are still some white spaces over here, and therefore we have to get rid of the white space. But actually, there should be a way to work around this. So before introducing that particular function to get rid of the white space over here, there are some instances too that we would like to, we don't want all our text to be in uppercase. The same way we don't want our text to be in lowercase. So when you are using Microsoft Word, there is something that we call capitalize each word. So it's like every letter that starts will be capitalized and the rest will follow. That is in lowercase. And therefore, in Excel, for you to have that particular format, we use a function that is called a proper. So let's delete this and let's insert another column. Okay, so we have equal to, we have the proper, then we select this, then we close our brackets. All right, so you realize that we have something called the capitalizing of each word. You realize that the first word, that is a there, is having a capital T, and the other word that follows is having a capital B. And so you double click this and you realize that we have the text over here is well arranged. It's pretty looking okay. And that is it for the proper, the upper, and the lower. So we use the upper to convert all text cases in Excel into upper cases. We use the lower to also convert it to the lower cases. And we use the proper to also convert it to, or to get the format that we normally call capitalizing each word. Now we still want to, we are interested in removing these white cases over here. Yes, so we still want this, we want a proper, but some of the white spaces we are not interested. So there's, looking at this particular text, you realize that we have some double spaces over here, which are not needed. We also have another white space over here, which is also not needed. We have double space over here, which is also not needed. All right, but we still want to maintain the proper. So you can try this again. So let me delete this, insert another column. And so we have equal to, we start proper. All right. Now the proper, as we said earlier on, will help our text. The first word will start, the letter in the first word will start a capital letter. And the letter, that is the second word, will also start with a capital letter. So a letter that starts a word will be a capital letter, and the rest will be in what? A lowercase. That can be achieved using a proper. But we also use the trim function to also get rid of the white spaces. And so to get the trim together with the proper, or using both functions, this is how to combine them. So we have equal to proper, then you also bring your trim. So this one. And now we go for this, because we want to use proper to actually present this particular word as capitalizing each word. Then when we are done, a word like this, we want to remove the white spaces. And so in Excel 2, you should know that whenever you introduce a bracket, you must close it. So we close this one, and we have to close this one. Then, okay, so we double click. All right. So you realize that the white spaces that we have over here is off. The double spaces that we also have over here is also off. The white space that we have over here before the word is also off. And wow, this one is also off, if you check. All right, so this is still on data cleaning and how you can manipulate some of your text in Excel, or we just introduce the key functions. So we have proper, we have upper, we have lower, and we have a combination of proper and trim. We said earlier on that using the upper function will just convert all your text to upper cases. Using the lower function will also convert all your text to lower cases. Using the proper will give you a text like capitalizing each word. So capitalizing the first letter. So let's say capitalizing the first letter of each word. Yeah. So that is it for the proper and a combination of proper and trim. That is, you capitalize the first letter of each word and you also trim it, meaning that you want to get rid of all white spaces. Yeah. So this is another section, or this is another aspect of our data analysis tutorials, and this particular one is still on data cleaning. You have to clean your data in order to ensure consistency or uniformity. Thank you once again for watching ATV Library Tutorial Series. And always remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel because there are a lot of videos coming. Thank you.